But the reality now is that an average Nigerian is a generating and distribution company now, because increasingly we've seen a trend which is predicted, long predicted, that Nigerians are going to be going off the grid. That is happening now because Nigerians, an average Nigerian, I mean, the big rich people like Alero, which I know living in the Via and the Koi people, will have, they will have solar, they will have humongous batteries called inverter that can serve 24 hours, where the people like us in Union, like the teachers, will be struggling. So Nigerians are going off the national grid, essentially because it's not that reliable. Another good development is that after about also 2 decades of advocating decentralized electricity framework, that is to bring it down. We're talking of rules now. In the past, I thought we had a regime that says only federal government can give us power. Similar to saying only federal government can construct roads. So we just said, no, this is not making sense. So we won that battle. Now states are now doing what federal government could do in the power sector. And we are going through a regime where a state may be on 24-hour access and another state may be in darkness. So that makes the respective states to be competitive. The states are not supposed to be digging their hands in their pocket to invest in the power sector because it's hugely expensive. They're supposed to be attracting private sector, just the way we're talking about for roads. They're supposed to be doing everything, putting their house in order to make their states bankable so that investors can come and invest in their respective states. We're encouraging the states, of course, to have, unlike what we have at the federal government, to have a regulator that can bite, effective regulation. Once you hands off, like the federal government did in the power sector, meaning it's privatized, the only thing the government can do to help Nigerians is to bring on board a regulator that is independent, firm, and strict, a knowledge-based regulation that will whip the players in line to do what is right, a regulator that will make it possible for the entities to make money while Nigerians also will benefit from a sustainable power sector. That's about to happen because we're seeing the body language of the current administration that shows that things are going to happen. And, this government signed the Electricity Act 2023 in June. I mean, almost hitting the ground running upon getting into power. Of course, that's because of the background of the president who had experimented something like that in Lagos when he was governor. So we're seeing things, states are having now exclusion from the federal regulations to set up their own regulatory framework, and some states are setting up infrastructure to be able to attract investors. We can never have enough money. So we free up the state, the space for state now to attract their investment in their respective power sectors. We're also encouraging 774 local governments in Nigeria, just as we have in the case of infrastructure, Trunk A, Trunk B, Trunk C roads. State, local government, as Adelus and others, you said that state also have responsibilities in terms of roads. Local government have responsibilities in terms of roads. So states should also encourage their respective local government to start to do small-scale power infrastructure, mini grids, all these biomass kind of thing to renewables. So with that, we're going to have a kind of energy mix that will be sustainable at the end of the day. But seeing we will be having enough money from the federal government in the power sector, the answer is no. I'm even advocating. I mean, people say I shouldn't even try that. Me, I'm advocating that since Nigerian government has privatized the power sector, the only business of the government is to bring on board effective industrial regulation through NRC. States should also replicate the same thing, effective regulation that is sustainable at their respective state level. Federal government should now start to pull back their investment in the power sector because it's privatized. So how can we be spending much more in a substantially privatized power sector? Federal government will strategically intervene in certain areas, but not to be spending humongous amount of money on the power sector. So that state will hold the process and step forward to really make things happen in their respective states in terms of the power sector. That's the only way we can have it sorted, because we can never have enough power in the country, and the deficit of electricity in Nigeria is in the region of about 50,000 megawatts, so to speak. If you must hard beat abundantly, and once you have stable electricity, the industry are going to pick up, especially the entrepreneurs.